It is 3 in the morning, and the Russian port of Novorossiysk is sleeping under a shroud of deceptive security. To the Kremlin, this harbor is more than just a logistical hub. It is a fortress, a sanctuary for the Black Sea Fleet and the economic lifeline of the Russian Federation. For decades, the rules of naval engagement were written in steel and dictated by the sheer displacement of massive warships. If you had the bigger cannons and the thicker armor, you owned the horizon. But on this humid night, nearly 500 miles from the nearest Ukrainian-held coastline, those rules are being systematically dismantled by a ghost in the water. There is no radar signature to track, no engine roar to hear, and no traditional navy in sight. Instead, there is only a sleek, black silhouette cutting through the dark waves at 50 knots. This is not a missile fired from a jet, nor is it a torpedo launched from a submarine. It is a 5-meter-long suicide vessel packed with nearly 1,000 kilograms of high explosives, guided by a pilot sitting in a nondescript basement in Kyiv using a satellite link and a consumer-grade controller. On this night, the invincible Russian defenses did not just fail, they were rendered obsolete by a technology the world was not prepared to see in action. The fire burning in the harbor as the sun rises is not just the remains of a landing ship. It is the funeral pyre of an entire era of naval doctrine. To truly understand how a nation without a traditional navy managed to paralyze a global superpower at sea, we have to look back at the old world. For over a century, maritime power was a game of billionaires and industrial giants. The Russian Black Sea Fleet was the ultimate symbol of this prestige, representing billions of dollars in cruisers, frigates, and submarines, designed to project absolute power across the region. When the full-scale invasion began, the strategic math seemed simple and brutal. Ukraine had lost its traditional fleet years prior. Russia possessed one of the most capable naval forces on the planet. It was supposed to be a total blockade that would starve the Ukrainian economy into submission within months. But in the shadows of the Dnipro River, a new kind of legend was being born, denied the budget. For traditional warships, Ukrainian engineers turned to what military historians are now calling the garage revolution. They didn't try to build a better ship, they built a smarter disruption. They took high-performance jet ski engines, reinforced fiberglass hulls, and commercial satellite arrays to create the Magura V5 and the Sea Baby. These are the apex predators of the 21st century, low profile, almost invisible to traditional radar, and faster than any cargo ship. These drones represent a shift toward hyper-asymmetric warfare. While Russia was looking at the skies for missiles, the threat was already underneath their noses, hiding in the salt spray of the waves. The Magura V5 is a masterpiece of engineering defiance. 5.5 meters of carbon, fiber, and impact-resistant polymers designed to absorb radar waves rather than reflect them. But its true power lies in its redundant navigation systems. Russian electronic warfare, such as the infamous Pol 21 system, is designed to create a black hole around critical ports, stripping away GPS signals and frying the electronic brains of incoming threats. To counter this, Ukrainian developers integrated inertial navigation systems, or INS, by using high precision gyroscopes and accelerometers. The drone can remember every inch it has traveled from the moment it was launched. It does not need a signal from the sky to know exactly where it is in the dark. It navigates by the logic of internal mathematics. Furthermore, these drones are equipped with forward-looking infrared cameras, allowing operators to see through the pitch-black night as if it were midday. This isn't just a remote-controlled boat. It is a semi-autonomous weapons system that utilizes swarm logic to overwhelm even the most sophisticated defenses. The mission to Novorossiysk was deemed a suicide run by many international observers. To reach the port, the drones had to travel nearly 800 kilometers through hostile waters, navigate around the heavily fortified Crimean Peninsula, and penetrate a harbor protected by layers of anti-saboteur nets, heavy machine gun nests, and even trained dolphins. the Ukrainian operators deployed their units in a wolfpack formation. 3 drones acted as decoys, intentionally creating noise and movement to draw the attention of the Russian coastal batteries and patrol boats, while the Russian defenders focused their searchlights and heavy fire on these distractions. A 4th drone, the one carrying the heaviest payload, slipped through the gap in the harbor defenses. It moved silently, its water jet dry, producing almost no cavitation, making it nearly impossible for sonar to detect. The target was the Novorossiysk, a massive Rapucha-class landing ship capable of transporting hundreds of troops and heavy armor. At 2:54 in the morning, the mission was seconds from impact. The drone was 50 meters away from the hull of the massive ship, but suddenly the feed flickered, the screen in. The Kyiv command center turned to static, and a high-pitched alarm signaled a total loss of connection. Russia had activated a localized high-power microwave jammer, a last line. Defense meant to sever the link between the drone and its pilot. For 30 agonizing seconds, the mission seemed to have failed. The drone was blind, and the Russian crew on the deck had finally spotted the disturbance in the water, opening fire with heavy machine guns. Tracers stitched across the surface of the harbor, splashing just inches away from the drone's camera. The world held its breath as the operation hung on a knife's edge. But this is where the technology changed the nature of the war forever. When the satellite signal died, the drone's onboard computer did not stop. It activated an autonomous terminal homing sequence driven by artificial intelligence. Using a convolutional neural network, the drone's camera analyzed the shape of the massive object in front of it and matched it against preloaded 3-dimensional models of the Russian fleet. Even without a human hand at the controls, the drone recognized its target. It didn't just aim for the center of the ship. It calculated the most vulnerable structural point. The AI steered the vessel sharply to the left, aiming directly for the engine room just below the waterline. The explosion that followed was so massive it was registered by seismic sensors miles away. The drone's 800-kilogram thermobaric warhead punched through the steel hull, creating a vacuum effect that tore through the internal compartments of the ship. The Russian Ministry of Defense immediately issued a statement claiming all drones had been intercepted and that no damage had been sustained. But within hours, the truth became impossible to hide. Leaked footage on social media showed the Novorossiysk listing, 45 degrees to its side, being desperately towed by tugboats. It was a strategic catastrophe. But the real shock was yet to come. While Russia was scrambling to move its remaining fleet further east to what they thought was safety, another explosion rocked the maritime world. This time, the strike wasn't in the Black Sea. It was in the Baltic, thousands of miles away near St. Petersburg. An oil terminal at Ust-Luga erupted in flames, effectively shutting down a major portion of Russia's energy exports. Ukraine had proven that the safe zone for the Russian economy no longer existed. Every port and every oil terminal was now within reach of a cheap, mass-producible piece of plastic. This evolution in warfare has massive implications for the global economy. It is not just about sinking ships. It is about the weaponization of risk. After the strikes, insurance premiums for any vessel entering a Russian port skyrocketed. Ukraine has effectively achieved a naval blockade of a major power without owning a single operational destroyer. This is the definition of hyper-asymmetric warfare. We are witnessing a moment in history that military academies will study for the next century. The era of the unsinkable fortress is over, and the sea now belongs to whoever has the best code. In the 21st century, the most dangerous weapon on the battlefield isn't the one that costs the most. It's the one you never see coming. The port of Novorossiysk was supposed to be a sanctuary, but now it serves as a monument to a changing world where no distance is too great and no target is too big to sink. Write your tactical analysis in the comments. We'll see you in the next deep dive. Stay sharp.